Stay one step ahead with Dubai Eye.
Newsmakers.
The movers and shakers shaping your world.
And Brandy Scott, your newsmaker this morning is in the room.
Oh, there are these two breakfast presenters that are kicking off on social media. This is my story. Two of them, topless, trolling each other. It's out of control.
And they are?
Chris Fade is one of them, and the other one, quite frankly, is old enough to know better.
Malcolm Taylor, topless on a horse. Explain yourself, Brandy. Why are they newsmakers today? Which news are they making?
They're newsmakers because their little spat has made it onto the Loving Dubai website. I give you the headline. Malcolm Taylor versus Chris Fade. At least they got the order right. The gloves are off and the public must decide. This is after Chris Fade took to riding half-naked horseback in the ocean here in Dubai.
A la Vladimir Putin.
Exactly. So there's a picture of Malcolm doing roughly the same thing. Where on earth does that come from?
The photograph of Chris is real. He was down at one of the hotels by the beach. He was taking his kids for a horse ride. Chris was in the studio yesterday talking about it.
Defending himself.
And afterwards, the people who own the horses said, well, Chris, we've got to take them for their morning wash or bath in the sea. And if you want, you can ride it out, which he did. And the photograph went wild on Chris's Instagram. He's got a big following on Instagram. Then we photoshopped one, if we're being totally truthful here.
I didn't.
That was really me on a horse. Come on.
The collective we of Malcolm looking very fit on the back of a horse. Malcolm's head was photoshopped onto a very
badly, I might say,
athletic Adonis-type man riding a horse. And Chris and Malcolm, who are good friends normally, have almost come to blows. Producer George Tolley's with us in the studio, has been following this, some might say fueling this on social media. George, what's been happening?
Well, it all started because we slightly trolled Chris Fade's picture. We wrote, "Oh, wow," above it with a lack of enthusiasm. It was actually Big Rossi who did the photoshopping. You can see all these pictures. They're all on Instagram or on Facebook and Twitter. I've gone wild at Dubai Eye 1038 FM. And it's worth mentioning that the photoshopped picture of Malcolm, if you're being cruel, I think it was real, but some people say it's photoshopped, is actually gaining more traction, more enthusiasm from listeners. It's getting more hearts on Instagram than Chris's.
So there's been a poll on Twitter and a poll on Instagram. And what has the public said, George? Where do we stand at the moment?
Over 95% vote Malcolm. Malcolm's naked torso is more attractive than Chris Fade's naked torso on a horse. Plus, the horse that Malcolm's riding looks far more comfortable than the horse that Chris is riding.
Chris is riding a miniature pony.
Well, he says it was a stallion, but actually what's happened, of course, he's in the sort of soft bit of the sand as you go into the sea. And, of course, his weight has pushed the legs into the sand by about 2 or 3 feet.
Every time I pass him in the corridor now, he shows me a picture of the horse on his phone. Every time. Look how long its legs are. It's huge.
It's proving it's a full-size horse. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, not a Shetland pony. It looks like a Shetland pony.
It has underlined one thing to me that I will never understand social media. I will never.
You've gone
understand
viral.
it.
Seriously, more retweets, more enthusiasm for these pictures than anything else I've ever put up on Instagram.
In my era, when you went viral, you went to see a physician. I mean, it's not something to be proud of.
I'm looking on the Dubai Eye Twitter. Oh, is it on our Instagram? Is that where people?
It's on both. Yeah, the comments are on Instagram. So here, look, I can show you on my phone. They show hearts. Basically, you can leave a comment, or most people are leaving smiley faces and saying Malcolm.
There you go.
Malcolm, no doubt, definitely Malcolm. Well, it's a tough one, but I'll go with Malcolm. Good old Malks. I always knew he'd rock an overall.
I know. So I'm just obviously of a different generation. I just find this embarrassing.
Our boss is talking about a calendar.
Really?
I saw that on the WhatsApp group.
Oh, dear.
Holding kittens.
Possibly not.
Stay one step ahead with Dubai Eye.